Hello, everyone. I do have one question before we get started. Are you attending SGDQ? If so, you can join us Tuesday, July 8th at 6 p.m. local time for our first ever Breakers meetup. This is a great opportunity to learn more about our community, get your badge ribbon, and mingle with other breakers. So stay tuned for more info. But wait, do you see that? That's a chance ball, and I think I'm about to bump it over to Hallow. Hallow, take it away.
Hello, hello, hello. It's good to be here. Are we live? All right. Hello, this is Beastie Ball. This is Spreko. They'll be sitting here helping me with the run. With me, I have three wonderful people who you may recognize if you watched my run at Fatales from being on the couch there, or you might just recognize them because, you know, they're cool people in the community. We have Happy by 3, Professor Birch, and the Valiant Sun. Go ahead and introduce yourselves by name so that people know your voices.
Hello, I think you said my name first. I'm Happy by 3. I also run this game sometimes.
Professor Birch, I was here for a lot of the early days of routing, but kind of just am a BC Ball PvP connoisseur at this point.
And hello, I'm the Valiant Sun. I put a lot of numbers in a spreadsheet and got an approximation of some damage calcs, and then need to go back and get more variables. Still.
We'll do it eventually.
One day.
One day.
12 years.
All right. So this is Beastie Ball. It is a wonderful little creature collector tactics grid volleyball sports anime RPG. Really fantastic game. It is in early access at the moment. They're about to have their first milestone update in a couple days, actually. I think it's coming out on the 12th. So still a work in progress game, so there may be some sprites that aren't finished or areas that don't have music yet. But the entire story is finished. There have been some routing changes over the past few months because there are balance patches. As Birch mentioned, there's a lot of PvP in this game, and that means there are a lot of balance patches going into it so that the game can be as balanced as possible when it finally comes out. But as a result, my co-commentators here have not watched a run since Fatales, and so stuff has changed a lot. Are you all excited?
I'm nervous.
Woo!
You've made it sound like something I should be worried about.
Chance Ball.
Hands ball.
There are some exciting new differences. My world record at that time was a 34-33, I believe. We since have pushed it down to low 33, and it could definitely go down to a 32 or even a 31. I got a 34 earlier today in warm-up, so maybe we'll PB here. Who knows? Anyway, enough yapping. I'm ready.
Remember
to go.
when we all lost our minds because it was sub-hour?
I knew it was going to be sub-hour, let's be real. But yeah, sub 40 was pretty crazy, and now it's like we're in the low 30s. It's wild. Anyway, let's get going, shall we? You all down to take the basic explanation of the game while I go through the early game?
Sure.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right. Let's get to it. Starting immediately when I click this finish button in 3, 2, 1, go.
Now this is Beastie Ball. This is Beastie Ball. You know, Pokemon is that. We picked a starter. But it's not that. It's volleyball on a 2x2 tactics grid. So the first thing the game introduces us to in the tutorial is, hey, if you only have one starter, you immediately lose. So then it also gives us a Spreko. So we get 2 starters, one that we choose, and then no matter who you choose, you get a Spreko. So we were just getting through that as quickly as possible, skipping all of the tutorialization and such, and then sprinting out of town to get started on the run itself. I was about to start talking more about like the 2x2 grid and what actions you have, but Birch is the most PvP brained here, so it feels like Birch should talk about that.
Okay, so essentially, the 2x2 tactics grid attacks can either go into either lane or either sort of column, depending on how you're looking at the tactic grid. If you hit it into a free square, you get the point automatically without having to knock out one of the opponent's beasties.
Oh no.
I have lost minutes of my life jumping into that river in that exact way. It looks like you're lined up and you're not.
Right, Guardian skip here. Nice, got it.
Let's go. I like when you get that one northward like that and it disappears into the wall.
Yeah, and you're sending the beetles to space.
They're sending the beetles to space.
Ooh, and so now we are going to lose.
A lot.
This game quite a few times. This game has a mechanic set up where you get extra XP from like story battles, and the intent for the casual experience is that you won't spend a ton of time being stuck on a story progression fight, because if you go in and you lose, you get an increased amount of XP, which will help you get there rather than having to go grind like classic JRPG grinding. We take advantage of this in the speedrun because you also get XP based on the level of the thing that knocked you out. So if we go into a fight where the other person is way stronger than us and it's also a story fight, we get dramatically increased XP compared to normal grinding. And it's really fast because we can go into it with this Kichik at 0 health. The enemy AI will always attack the 0 health beastie for the quick point, so it's really, really fast. And there's shared XP, so both Kichik and Spreko level up every time Kichik gets KO'd. So it
will have a lot more to say on experience and kind of outdate a lot of what Happy just said in a bit.
Yeah, have we learned new things?
We have learned plenty of new things.
Mortifying.
To briefly explain why we're losing here, we are about to go through Quartz Canyon here. Jack, our rival here, self-proclaimed, is a bit of a roadblock. We can't get to the rest of the game without fighting them, and this is the fastest place to fight them and get to Geo City, which is a very central area. But we need to lose this fight 5 times in order for Kichik to metamorph into Ostraci right here. And that means they get a full heal, which means we can now win this fight. I have a bit of a flowchart to follow, so I'm going to focus for a moment.
That's the other great thing about grinding by losing, is when beasties metamorph, they get all their health back. So we don't have to like have items to heal them. We don't have to waste time running back to the tent to rest. We can just go straight into the battle again. And then, like Hello mentioned, there's a flowchart for a lot of these fights.
We should be fine.
The enemy AI is not 100% prescriptive, but it's pretty dang close. Enough so that we can flowchart out most of the fights with just a couple points where it's like, okay, if it does this, then follow this side. If it does this, follow this other side. But there are some fights.
I'm just going to forfeit and restart that, actually. And
Fair.
Hopefully I'm not soft-locked. Unfortunately, I'm soft-locked. So we're going to restart all that from the beginning, which is nice and lovely. As you can see, I cannot exit this. They are hopefully patching this soon.
What's our estimate?
I did not set up a safety save, which was not my brightest idea.
To be fair, I don't think any of us would have put the safety save after Jack won anyway.
We were also
If I had any smarts, I would have made one there, but unfortunately I didn't. So let me just reopen the game real quick. You're gonna see me switch around some OBS scenes briefly. There we go. And we're gonna start over. Should we restart the timer, perhaps?
And can you reshare in Discord so we can all
And can I
see your
reshare in Discord?
brilliance?
Yes, I absolutely can, and I am not going to move Spreko to the side too soon this time. I needed to block there, and I sort of got a turn ahead in my flowchart, unfortunately.
The good news is,
Cool.
like Hello
So-
mentioned, we'll probably still be fine for a 45-minute estimate, even with a 5-minute
absolutely.
reset. Like,
It should be a 40-minute estimate, if anything. You could probably turn it down to 35 and have it be pretty accurate. Anyway,
gonna be fine.
let's do that again. The nice thing about having to reset is now we've had a whole bunch of time to explain things. And so you've heard all that already, and we don't need to say any of that again. Let's go. Starting in 3, 2,
I don't know that I agree.
1, go.
Cool. So this is Beastie Ball. You know Pokemon? This is that.
Pokemon Tactics Grid.
Except it's not Pokemon. It's on a 2x2 tactics grid, and also it's volleyball.
To further explain the tactics grid,
Actually,
there's a front row and a back row, and a left lane and a right lane, or top lane and bottom lane in the view I choose to have of the battle. If you hit an empty lane, you score a point. If you wipe an opposing beastie, you also score a point. That match is designed to teach us that we, in fact, need 2 beasties.
Hey, I said that thing already. Come on.
I said that thing.
I just accidentally clicked off my game window. I don't play this in full screen because otherwise it would be 16:10, which is a little awkward. But anyway.
Mac problems.
So
we've had a really fun ongoing experience with Hallow running this game. Where we just discover that there are oddities in the Mac port that do not exist in the Windows port.
Yep.
Does the door thing still happen?
It certainly does, and Greg has no idea how to fix it or why it happens.
Hooray! I'm
Great.
so glad chat's gonna get to see the doors into
doors.
the Minecraft Nether.
Chat's gonna think that's normal. There are people in chat who have never seen this game before, and they're gonna think that's normal. And
Like,
what
Greg
doors are
just
supposed
loves
to look
doors.
Anyway.
Also, despite getting that twice, that Guardian skip is not as easy as Hallow made it look. It's a pretty tight
There's
jump on that
a
one.
setup for it now.
There's a new setup? Alright. It used to suck.
Yeah.
It still kind of sucks, but if you set up sort of like flush with the boulder that you run past, you can actually just tap up slightly and get it pretty much every time, which is super nice.
That is nice.
As I said, lots of new discoveries. We've been pushing the category a lot while these 3 have been away.
Yeah. That's my
Anyway,
favorite way to deal with video games is disappear because I'm busy with something else. And then when I get back, Hallow has made the run way better and easier for me.
Something like that. There has been, of course, a lot of help from other people in the community. I do need to shout out Misty Palms, who is currently actually the world record holder for this game. They have done a whole lot of work on pushing me and convincing me that different strategies are good, actually, and we don't need to stick to the same things we've been doing forever. I also need to shout out Oddnomaly, who has repeatedly thrown his head against a whole bunch of walls everywhere in service of finding skips and stuff, a couple of which we will be using in this run. Anyway, almost to 15 here.
Odd is by a pretty wide margin the best in the community at jumping in the same place for 5 hours until suddenly you're on a rock you're not supposed to be on. And I don't have the patience to do that, but I'm so glad somebody does, because it's really, really valuable for any speedrunning community to have someone who does that.
Yep.
Just like I think it's also important for speedrunning communities to have people who make memes.
Yeah, that's what I do. What I do is make the original really, really bad route for the game and then go, okay, everyone, I'm going to disappear for 6 months. Make this better.
All right, so we're not going to mess it up this time. What we're doing here is we're moving Spreco to the front so they can potentially block on defense if we get this pattern, which we do. This pattern is the most common, but it is also unfortunately slower. Well, I could have used Careful Shot, apparently. But either way, Spreco's going to block here, and Ostracize is going to survive on 1 HP.
Thanks, blocking.
Where we are going to leave them so we can lose fights more easily in a second. People in the call with me won't know this new route because there was actually a slight nerf to Ostracize trait recently, which means they deal slightly less damage on low health than they did before. It's an additive boost rather than a multiplicative, meaning we need to actually take 2 turns to take out Sabretooth there, but we do win the fight.
Yeah, I was wondering. I'm like, I thought that kill happened easier before, but
it certainly did happen easier before. But yeah, that flowchart has changed. Apparently, Quack was trying to do it a couple days ago. Shout out Quacksilver. We're gonna lose this fight. The reason why we need to leave ourselves on 1 HP is because this Servant doesn't have a move that it can use from the back lane. It can only use things from the front lane, and so we need to be on 1 HP so it can knock us out with Free Ball. Free Ball is a move you always have access to. It just deals exactly 1 damage.
I love that too, because that Servant was infuriating before, because it's one of the Guardians that there's no way to get past it.
It is, like, I think, the only Guardian there's no way to get past.
Yeah? Yeah. So, like, we were stuck fighting it no matter what. So, just make the fight benefit us. That's super smart. I love that.
Yep. That little bit of experience we get from that will be helpful in getting us to a higher level quicker in the grind, which is going to come up shortly. Jump on a fence here to skip that Guardian. I nearly messed it up. We're just going to be grabbing a whole bunch of warp points real quick. That's Domain Park.
Yeah, this game has that cool thing where you don't have to like go to a specific warp point, except for tents. You don't have to actually physically go to a lot of the warp points to be able to use them. You just need to like enter the screen. So this little section, we kind of go like into Domain Park, and then we go over into whatever the place with the gym right there is called that I can't remember.
There are lots of beasties on the screen. I ran into one. I'm so sorry.
That
Can I get
opens...
Oh, I was so close.
That one's really hard. I also really like that the 2 beasties there are named Ray and Skip.
Oh yeah, true. The other one is Skip. Also,
it is literally Ray Skip.
Wait,
if we were smart, we would call it Ray Skip.
Okay, we just got it. That's never happened before. That ball I threw actually hit the lever there while I was in that match with a wild beastie. Also, that was a bad spawn.
That can
man.
Apparently that can happen.
Apparently that can happen.
We were talking about valuable people to have in your speedrun community, and we forgot to mention someone who's willing to just do math.
And that's Jess.
Thank you, Jess.
Thank God for Jess.
Yeah, like as we've kind of mentioned a couple of times, we do have like these flowcharts and things, and that is because a lot of the behavior of the NPCs aren't always exactly the same. There will be somebody who we fight who's going to have like a slightly different AI behavior than some of the other AI that we will face, but a lot of the sort of like idea is that beasties or like your opponents and the wild beasties are going to go for usually the kill, or like some will prioritize an open lane, so you can kind of know what the AI is going to do, and that's why we're able to like flow chart everything in the way that we are, is because we can kind of figure out what the like NPCs trying to do, and then know also like you can hover over and see exactly the amount of damage that they're going to do and you're going to do, and be able to kind of estimate what the computer's going to do, which is really nice, as opposed to like Pokemon, where it's like, oh well, we're gonna maybe get like some random roll and maybe this will help and we need to re-roll for IVs and things. In this route, we're able to kind of just take our starter Pokemon or beasties that are always going to have like the same exact stats, and so we know like what is going to happen in a more prescriptive way.
All right, here's the grind. We just gathered a whole bunch of items and work points, the last of which was a super athletic spray, which is going to 1.5 our experience game for 5 minutes of overworld time. This does not count time spent in matches, so we're going to lose a bunch of times. The first few are going to be to Jack. Jack we ran into earlier. Obviously, you'll recognize the music.
Wait, not all of them are to Jack?
As I said, Happy, I'm going to have a lot to talk about. You gain... So, the property that makes losing to Jack fast is Jack's experience that they give you does not diminish across multiple fights with them. most non-story battles, such as Guardians, will have diminishing experience as you play more points against them. Jack doesn't. So it's fairly efficient to lose a bunch to Jack for a while. We're gonna go to level 27 here. Your experience peaks when you're right about the same level as the opponent. So it's slowly tapering off as we get higher and higher than level 21. We're gonna learn a bunch of moves here that we don't need. And then we're gonna do a fun little skip in a sec and go lose to a bunch of Guardians on the way to 1,000 views. Got just, I think, yep, this one and then one more loss. We're gonna hit level 26 here, and then after this one, we're gonna hit level 27. We need to, at some point, get Ostracide here up to level 36 so they can metamorph into their final form, Castlete. And we're gonna do that by losing to a bunch of Guardians that are much higher level than us. The experience we would get from them would not be very good. Sorry, just focusing. Would not be very good if we were not near their level. Sorry for the camera jittering, that just happens sometimes. But either way, now that we're closer to their level, it's more efficient to come and lose to these Guardians a bunch of time. We're gonna get like 1,600, 1,700, all the way up to I think about 2,000. Oh, that's a skip, by the way.
Hooray!
What?
First try. Yeah, that's early 1,000 views. So we can actually just go on to 1,000 views without ever beating that second Jack fight.
That's cool.
That's
You know, the reason I'm mad about that is because when you do it, it's so obvious. We have a different trash can skip that looks almost identical. Like,
Well, the other one doesn't require us jumping
we
on a
can
tree.
jump up there. Well, true. But it just feels like you look at that and you think your brain would be like, ooh, I should jump around here and see if it's possible. But I just don't have that brain. So thank God Anomaly does.
Yes, exactly. Odds is truly an asset to this speedrunning community. Anyway, whole bunch of overworld movement here in between losing. We're going to be throwing some balls at targets to rotate some gates. Oh yeah, here's the other trash can skip that Happy just mentioned. This one's real easy. Just meaning we got to skip that whole thing.
That is a very long section of hitting one of these levers to lift and lower gates.
Yep. The other reason why losing to Guardians is so much faster is because we can actually give them serve, which makes the fight a lot faster because we don't have to go through a whole sequence of us serving. And it is faster to just wait there and let them have serve because, again, we would need to serve, the AI would need to think for a bit, and they'd need to volley it probably twice before sending it back at us.
And
so
then,
it
God
takes
forbid,
all in all...
they have... man, it's been a second. What's the little gemstone dragonfly boy?
Collider.
Clydarn.
Yes, God forbid they have a Collidarn, and then the AI takes like 3 to 5 business days to decide it wants to volley.
damn Happy. Do you run this game?
What's worth noting is they do actually remove that from the speedrun timer up in the top left. AI thinking time is removed from that, which is super nice for just like... the devs actually implemented that specifically because one of our runners, Zonkmaster, was running into like significant slowdowns on a less powerful machine. And now that time is just eliminated from runs because it's inconsistent between machines. Anyway, we're level 34. We have one more fight to lose. That one's going to be against Dominic, who is going to be the only ranked coach we beat in this run.
Does that still work? At this point, I'm afraid to explain a mechanic because you're going to be like, actually, we found out that's wrong.
That one still works.
That's still the same reason? Great. Okay, so we fight Dominic because in this game, there, in lieu of gym leaders, as you may be familiar with, there are ranked coaches. Oh, that's
There's
a door.
the door.
There's also the Sports King. That's fine. A lot just happened there. Here comes the door.
Here comes the
Door King.
So the ranked coaches, this is technically an open world in the sense that you don't very explicitly like have to fight Brock first TM, right? Like, it's not super strict with the order of coaches, but there is kind of an order of like, these ones are easiest, these ones are middle, and these ones are hard, and that is marked on your map. Dominic is really hard. Dominic is very much intended to be a late game coach.
Yep. Ranked coaches have some scaling depending on what order you do them in. Dominic has very minimal scaling. You'll see his beasties here are level 50, level 51, level 53. They scale up to a maximum of like 56.
Yeah, like they're pretty much always going to be
anyway
pretty tough. So instead of doing what the game sort of suggests we do, which is go around and beat multiple ranked coaches until we reach rank 100, which allows us to enter into the Crown Series, we just go and fight the strongest gym leader first. And by beating him, they're like, well, I guess you belong in the top 100 already, and we can just skip the whole grind.
Anyway, we're going to a gym here to buff up Castle Elite stats a whole bunch.
An actual gym.
I am not using those because we have partners, so we're not using the exercise videos yet, and we're actually going to go get a whole bunch more right now by absolutely demolishing these high schoolers.
I'm so glad we added the high schoolers to the run. Yeah, this actually...
They will give us 3 exercise videos. Exercise videos are very useful items. They also give us some money, which is nice and needed.
This may be the thing that gets me back into grinding this game again, because going and beating up on the annoying anime high schoolers is so funny to me. These were my favorite NPCs in the base game because they have the whole like, they're like, you can't beat us, we have the power of friendship, and then you body them and they're like,
I'm just now realizing that I don't think I ever interacted with these NPCs in my playthroughs.
God, really?
I know I never interacted with them.
He's like,
I picked up so much trash and threw it in trash cans.
Hit the wrong side. We're fine. No, we're not. I always forget how this works. I literally did this in warm-up earlier, and then I forgot again.
Restart the run.
So we're actually going to need to forfeit and head right back up to that zip station real quick to heal.
Like 10 seconds away.
Less than, but it's annoying because I need to actually do this fight again and not click launch into that Grub Iron who has good body defense. Oh yeah, I suppose I should explain attacking types. There are 3 attacking types in this game, body, spirit, and mind. Each beastie has an attack and defense stat, or sorry, power and defense stat for all of those. We are going to do Iligus first. So just getting into a sort of main story quest here, there are 2 things we need to do in order to enter the Crown Series, which is the end of the game. One of them is get a platinum sponsor, which is what this quest is about. We're going to be going and quieting down some rowdy beasties, such as this Iligus here, in order to do some research on the mushroom colonies that seem to have a lot of links to beasties. We are doing Iligus first, as Iligus is the metamorph of Spreko we are going to go for this run. It has an ability or a trait called Trapper, which is going to set up some field hazards on the opponent's side of the field every turn and basically make it a whole lot easier for us to get some one-shots later in the run.
Yeah, that's a cool mechanic of Spreko. Spreko's obviously the little dude that they give you at the beginning when they're like, you need more than one beastie, so here's this in addition to your starter. But then later in the game, they actually do let you choose a second starter out of 3, because throughout the story, we find out that Surgus can evolve into 3 different things, which is super cool. And last time I checked, at least, each of the different starter runs used a different form of Surgus metamorph, which I think is super cool.
Metamorph, but yeah. We aren't sure on Build It, because Build It's kind of in a bit of a purgatory at the moment where it doesn't have a proper route. But either way, this is Bongus.
I love Bongus.
Bongus is the best creature ever.
Bongus.
Besides maybe Trat. Anyway, that's the second of 2 colonies. We're now going to head down here and buy a boat. And do a tricky little guardian skip here.
We did find a skip that we don't use anymore on those guardian fights, the Sprecko metamorph fights, rowdy beasties. That's the word I'm looking.
Yes.
For. On those rowdy fights, it is possible to like position yourself such that if you forfeit and then mash, you will select and interact with the mushrooms without actually having to do the fight. So there is a way to skip the fights. That is really hard, and first round that is cracked. You can skip these fights with that, but we're strong enough at this point that it's faster to just bop them, and we get stuff from it. Like,
yeah, we get experience, we get some money, which we don't really need much of, but it's nice to have it. And once we're in a fight, and if we can 2-round it, it just makes sense to get experience. Anyway, we don't quite get to. This is the downside of doing Surgus first. I always forget because there's all ranked coaches where we can in fact 2-shot Surgus here, and then if you don't do Surgus first, they actually scale a bit. So you'll see that fight was a little bit slower, annoyingly. But anyway, now we're all set to take on Dominic.
Bob the Drag Queen song is Surgus first.
Very good. Anyway, we now use we are about to go fight Dominic. We used all of our exercise videos there to bring Castlete up to level 43. And that's going to make this fight a lot more consistent with what Dominic does. I have a flowchart to follow, so this is focus time. We'll use our partner's volley here. First time you see a combo move. Beasties have relationship types. I move Castlete over here. Beasties have relationship types. There are several of them. In this one, we get either partners or rivals. Rivals is faster, but it's fine. Here we move Iligus to the side as they're going to take a rocket. Going to refresh and lay trap. Traps again, allowing us to get this KO on Ali if we couldn't already, which I think we could. Yep. After Ali, launch into Ali, and it's going to be Ruth again. Iligus decide to lose the point because the AI likes to attack Iligus on this particular situation. Shield Castlete. Ruth is on 50, so we are going to have to lose another point, unfortunately, but it's fine. Ruth moves to the front there and takes a bunch of damage. We're now going to move Iligus to the side again. Hopefully this works.
Dominic's a really tough fight, but luckily he's not completely ruthless because he does have one Ruth.
It's true. That was very good, by the way. So now Ruth is actually on low enough HP that we get a free careful shot into the front row here. It's a sideways move. First time you're seeing us use one of those. But we basically get a free point there because we know the AI is going to switch out. Anyway. Bo's back in now. We're going to shield Castlete. I haven't explained the move shield yet. It is our best friend and our worst enemy in this game. Basically what it does is means you are tough. You take a quarter the amount of damage and you can't be knocked out if you were on more than 1 stamina. Anyway, that's Dominic. So now we're rank 100.
If you are familiar with Pokemon, it's like a more interesting, nuanced version of Protect.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Anyway, there's our Platinum sponsor. We delayed it until now just to make sure that our Athletic Spray didn't run out. And anyway, now we're all set and ready to go after the Crown Series, but we have some friends to talk to first. But before we're going to do that, we're going to get some phone calls from them saying they want to talk while we go grab a warp point, as per usual. So, we're going to first go talk to Reese. We got a full heal after the Dominic fight. Whenever you exit a ranked coach fight, you get a full heal, which is super nice. Anyway. This is Reese. His first couple beasties won't go down in one hit anymore, but the two in the back will still. So we're just gonna, unfortunately, beat down his team a little bit. He is by nature a beastie researcher, but he is trying to get into coaching to understand beasties more. There's a whole bunch of awesome world building about why beasties ball.
No, Jeremy.
No, Jeremy, sorry. You're trying to say something. Go on.
No, you're great. This is one of my favorite fights that we do in the speedrun because I really love when the speedrun makes parts of the story way less serious. Because, like, he's having this whole, like, existential crisis, and he's like, I really need to talk to you about something. And then, like, there's this whole story about how he wants to learn to, like, coach better, and it's, like, really important to him, and blah, 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 and then we just body his ass. Like, we
body him and we skip all the cutscenes.
And we skip all the cutscenes.
Anyway, using partners there for a free knockout on Sabretooth there, we're going to, I think, just win this fight here, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's go.
Do I one-shot? No, I don't. Okay. Right, it's gonna be one more turn, which is fine.
Because we have shield.
Because we have shield. Anyway.
Shield is with me. Who can be against me, really?
Friendship ended
there
with
we go.
shield.
Okay.
Shield best friend now. All right, 1 second. I have to tab over to a meme generator.
Okay.
Yeah.
Changing up Illigis's moves here because we're gonna need some different ones for the next fight. Make sure I heal and I get stuck in the zip station again because that just happens sometime.
Here's the most egregious door.
Here's the most egregious door. Yeah. Oh, I didn't go far enough in. I always forget that I need to actually trigger that cutscene.
You have to actually trigger God.
I have to trigger God.
We go through the door to hell, and now we fight God. You know,
Yep.
RPG things.
Yeah.
RPG things.
All right. So this is Shloom. We need shield for here for Illigis because otherwise they will just die. It is worth noting you can have a team of up to 5 beasties in this game. You will note that we are at 2 and have not in fact recruited another one. That makes this fight very hard. But we are going to make it work. Again, shield means that we can reduce a whole bunch of damage that Illigis would otherwise take. We'll also, on a later point, be actually moving Casselite in front of Illigis to take a hit for them. We're moving them in front here just because Casselite is going to take a hit. And we want to lose a point because we can lose 3 and Shloom can lose 1. So we only need to win 1, which is very nice. Traps don't do anything here, obviously, because there is no beastie in the back for Shloom to switch out into. Anyway, I need to check calcs here. Okay, Illigis will go down, so we're moving Casselite over to take that hit for them. And you'll see why we switched to Breaker here. It's actually going to lower Casselite's body, or lower Shloom's body defense, so Casselite can hit just a little bit harder on this turn. Shield here.
Actually, because this is the Binary Breakers Summer Showcase.
You're so right. I'm so sorry I lied. Anyway, that's God.
GG defeating God.
Yep, we beat God at sports. Anyway, now we can go enter the Crown Series. Funny how quick that is. I'm going to switch Illigis's moves now before I forget. We go right back into Lay Trap and Careful Shot. It's a bit annoying we have to change them for one fight, but, you know, we have to.
I mean,
it's the fastest way to beat the game. By
right, Rich, it's in Beastie Ball Memes channel for you.
I will need to see this later. Anyway, now in all of 27 minutes, we are entering the Crown Series.
What?
New thing that you all haven't seen before. Kaz is kinda supposed to be the first ranked coach you fight, quote unquote. This is an open world game, nothing matters. If you haven't ever met him before, he shows up here with a team of level 17 beasties, and we get to beat him up.
It's Brock.
I love Kaz.
It's Brock if you did it in reverse boss order. Anyway, Next up's Elena. Elena has some annoying moves and a little bit of a flowchart to her.
Elena
has through the text where she calls us a speedrunner.
Oh yeah, what's the time barrier for that?
Oh, it's like an hour.
It's like it's very forgiving.
It's not even a time barrier. It's literally just have you not beaten X number of ranked coaches.
Oh, that's what triggers it.
Yep. Anyway, traps are nice and helpful there.
Elena also, just FYI, like, is essentially in-universe Twitch streamer, and the first time you ever face her, she does ask her chat who she should attack, so you can basically screen peek her Twitch chat to strategize for the game, and I think it's beautiful.
What?
Hey, what happened?
Hey, wait.
I just lost the file.
What?
I quit out instead of just forfeiting, and I lost the file.
Oh.
No.
Do you have a file sitting near Crown Series?
Do I have a file sitting near Crown Series? I doubt it. I cleaned out my files pretty recently. What happened there, which I was about to explain before I realized what I had done, was I actually bought protein bars instead of electrolytes. Protein bars cannot heal a wiped beastie. You can see why this might be an issue after Castle 8 just got wiped. So either way, I now unfortunately just lost that file because I turned autosaves off habitually. And we continue the 100% streak of having marathon showcases of this game be extremely scuffed. What should I do here? Should I go, like, beat post-game Valerie instead?
I was gonna say maybe we should just do like a late game fight on another file to at least show that off.
Yeah, let's do some post-game fights.
Or maybe like a round of tower.
Gosh, I did not plan for this because I have never made that mistake before of buying protein bars instead of electrolytes. I was wondering why I could purchase so many. Anyway.
You're like, damn, that's a lot.
Yeah. Let's take this file I was playing on, I think, earlier today, and let's just go beat a post-game fight to make up for that. This was
Also,
a file
did
earlier.
I see that you had a rare morph on one of your like build it practice files?
I don't think so. It was just like a particularly fancy Brosleiden.
Oh, okay. I thought blue was
Anyway, sorry to everyone who might have been here from the Wishes server who was expecting us to beat the Crown Series. That didn't happen. We'll
If you want to beat the Crown Series,
Play the game.
play this game.
If you want to beat the Crown Series, play this game.
I guess
we're
you gotta
gonna
keep
talk
good and
to
do it
Valerie
yourself.
here.
Sorry.
This is a post-game fight. Let's win this. I have this routed out from earlier, and hopefully it should work. We got to hear
Valerie
a
is-
fantastic moves, like music track at least.
Valerie is like the final fight in the main game.
Sort of.
She is the reigning
Yeah.
champion.
All right, I have Vigor Beam on. Vigor Beam's a nice move, which you would have seen us use later in the run. It deals more damage if our HP is higher. I don't have this routed for having Vigor Beam, actually. I think we should one-shot almost anything here. Is Nice Shot gonna knock us out? No. Is Rocket going to? No. Okay, cool. We're blocking.
But yeah, I guess like as Hollow's doing this, like you can't actually see like when you hover over, you can see how much damage it's going to do to each beastie depending on if it's the front row or the back row or those two different numbers. You can also see that they're able to like hover over the attacking beasties to see how much damage they're going to do depending on if you're in the front row or the back row. All of which like allows you again to like kind of deterministically figure out how to do the fights. And that's how we're able to do the flowchart so easily as well.
Yep. I should knock out here because I have so many traps up. Okay, cool.
and to show a small bit of how much game knowledge Hallow has, those last 2 turns when Hallow didn't attack the beastie with 9 health, it's because Hallow knows the AI is gonna shield that first time and then gonna switch it out.
Since we have some extra time, let's go do another post-game fight. We're gonna go up the Alps.
Yay!
And I'm gonna improvise.
We're gonna play Celeste.
We're gonna play Celeste.
Happy Pride, everybody. We're gonna climb a mountain while Lena Rain soundtrack plays.
Yes.
To fight our.
Man, I'm so mad at myself for buying the. Can you all drop the ball? These all are getting in the way. But we're gonna do some more fun overworld movement. Have I mentioned yet how just like genuinely awesome the movement in this game is? It feels a little weird when you're first getting used to it. But like we're just charging around with Sonic legs.
Yeah.
Rolling around at the speed of sound.
Wabounce is honestly so adorable.
It is one of the creatures of all time.
And then
sure.
it evolves into Satan itself.
Yeah, it's a clown spider. 2
That's a
things
take.
people are notorious for liking.
People love both clowns
Happy.
and spiders.
Have you considered that Greg might be watching?
Greg,
Did you
I
just
love
insult Goofster?
And I love everything you've ever done. And I'm still not genuinely convinced that you like Goofster. I'm still
Okay.
convinced that Greg is trolling us by claiming to love Goofster.
He helped design Goofster.
Yeah.
In the
All right,
chat,
so
we do like
He
Who do I
helped
win
design
this round?
Goofster in the way that people from Chicago love Malort. Like, we love it because we're trolling other people with it.
All right, I don't actually know.
This is when I need to
'cause I
speak
need to
up
win
and
this
say,
fight.
my lord is not that bad.
What is Malort?
My wife unironically likes it. Birch, we can introduce you at GDQ.
Birch, the answer is no, actually.
No, I do not consent.
All right, I'm not sure we're gonna actually win this, unfortunately, because I forgot that I actually need to like be able to win this fight. Which I'm not sure I can do after. Like, I will knock out Umbra here.
Oh, you're like, I'm certain that I can win the mountain, but I cannot
Oh,
get
yeah,
to
no, I don't know if I can win this. These beasties all have an ability called Intangible, which means they don't take damage from body type attacks, which is what Castlade, of course, uses. They also have Dreadful messed up, which means I can't shield here, and I'm probably going to lose. Am I going to lose? I'm not going to lose.
Love when that happens.
I'm probably still going to lose. I am 1 damage short of winning. That is so unfortunate. Yeah, so no second endgame fight, unfortunately. I'm still very mad at myself for oh, hold on. No, we lose here. Anyway. I hope that if anything, this shows you. Oh, Ilias is injured. Fun. That doesn't happen before you beat the game if it's been like 90 minutes into a save file. This game has so much depth, and I hope that if anything, like me going up into an area of the map you haven't seen before in the rest of the run helps show that. There is just so much map that isn't shown here. There's a whole area over here. There's a whole area down here, which we barely explore at all. There are so many awesome characters, like awesome beastie designs, which you don't even get to see because we're just going so fast. Play this game. Wait until early access ends if you want to. It's probably going to be a year or so. If I'd have to guess, maybe 2 years. They're going to take as long as they need to take. But this game is really, truly fantastic.
And even though it is an EA, like as Hollow said earlier, the whole game is like finished in terms of like actually being able to like play the game, so you can still get a lot out of the early access.
Yeah, there are just a few areas which still have some stuff to be built and obviously some balance changes. Either way, you all have some shoutouts.
Play this game.
Yeah, I think everyone I would shout out is in this chat right now. So shout outs to y'all.
Shout out to Multiphone.
Shoutouts to Multithon.
Shout out Multithon.
Shoutouts Multiphone. We need to get starter race ready for that next time.
Oh yeah, we should probably work on that.
Boy.
Yeah,
Don't
something
worry.
fun about this game
Information's coming
is Kichik any percent. The world record is currently at about 33 minutes. The Axolotl any percent world record is like 37, but we have a route that I have gotten to the last fight that matters in the run and lost there on 33 pace. Build It is currently kind of floundering at the moment, but we're working on it.
7 to build it.
Yeah, so again, huge shout outs to the entire Beastie Ball speedrunning community. Huge shout outs to also just the Wishes Unlimited community and all of the Beastie Ball players there who I've been hanging out with a whole lot lately. Just a absolutely wonderful group of people. So glad to have met them all. Shout outs to the Binary Breakers for putting this show on. Yeah, I think that's all I have. You can follow me on Twitch at Hallow. No fancy stuff, it's just Hallow. And yeah, that's Beastie Ball.
Now that's Beastie Ball.
Here comes the.
Here comes the.
Yep. Thank you, Happy.
Yeah, happy to help.
Yes. Okay. Gotcha. We are going to go to a quick break while we get set up for the next run, which is Kitsune Tales by Debonair.